Whether you took a break or maybe your channel fell off a little bit and you stopped uploading, it's time to make a comeback. In this episode, two video creators, Grant and myself, both have taken long breaks from YouTube, and it's time to make our comeback, and we're going to be talking about exactly our strategies in order to do this the right way. So if that sounds good to you, stick around and let's dive in. Welcome back to the Video Creator Show, where we talk about all things YouTube. My name is Augie Johnson. I'm here with my co-host, Grant Ball. And today we are talking about making a comeback on YouTube. But before you come back, there's a lot of different things you need to consider and steps you need to take. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So Grant, what does it really mean to make a comeback on YouTube?
Well, to me, it's simple. It means you're posting videos again. However, I would say a comeback also implies freshness. Like it should feel different than when you left. It might be your style is a little different. At the very least, should mean you have more life experiences to pull from, and you are coming back in a state of mind where you don't feel burned out is the most important thing, I would say. So fresh, not burned out, and just feeling at least a little different.
Yeah. So would you say then, like, the main reason you think that most people end up stopping on YouTube or stop uploading is because of burnout?
I think that's a big thing, like getting burned out with making videos, with the kind of interacting with the, I don't know, comments. And maybe if you're feeling self-conscious, it can be very self-reflective to see a bunch of comments about yourself. Like, I think burnout is a big thing for sure, for sure. I think in general, we live in a society where we are constantly pressured to, I think, put in as much work as humanly possible in ways that are not sustainable, especially with creative pursuits, where I think we really need time to live our lives and to kind of gain inspiration and have new experiences where our life feels full and we're not putting 100% into like this one thing, in this case, YouTube. So yeah, I just think it's so common, and I'm kind of approaching things differently now. And I think that's a big difference with this comeback is, you know, I took a several-year break, but I feel like I'm coming back to it with just a very different mindset about how I approach things. And we can talk about like what that difference is, to avoid getting burned out again and to kind of enjoy it more as I'm doing it.
Yeah, and if you are kind of a veteran YouTube creator, then you understand burnout, YouTuber burnout. And if you've gone to conferences or interacted in any kind of video creator communities, it's the number one thing you're going to hear about is burnout. So it is a thing, and that's the reason I think that you and I both stopped uploading on our channels. You know, my channel had 200,000 subscribers, and I stopped uploading. Yours was around 950,000 subscribers, and you stopped uploading for years, right? For years. And we both kind of went through burnout, I think, in our own way. And I think all creators go through burnout, whether it's just you absolutely despise video editing, or you absolutely do not want to have to check your email that's tied to your YouTube account. You cannot stand replying to comments, like you said. There's so many little details that go into being a video creator. It could be any one of them, right? That burns you out. Like you're sick of brand deals. You're sick of talking to these companies, and it stresses you out, and that's why you end up burning out and trying other things. So burnout comes in all different forms, and that truly is the reason that people stop uploading. I would say, or also maybe no traction, no viewership. Right. That's another reason I think that people stop publishing. And that was one of the reasons for me. Like, I was like, man, I'm doing this full time now as a job, and I expect to grow. And when I wasn't growing and I was putting in more effort, what I thought was more effort into my videos, and I wasn't seeing the results, that's what kind of led me to end up looking to do something else, which was VidChops, my video editing company. And that's
understandable.
That's where my story ended there. And I'm interested as well. I have plans to make a comeback. Just about a week ago, I made a community post on my YouTube channel that I haven't really uploaded it for over 5 years to. And I said, leave me a comment with the word comeback if you want me to start creating content again. And, I don't know how many impressions that post got, but I got maybe 15 or 20 comments, people saying, come back, come back, come back. And that helped me get motivated and get kind of some confirmation that I should come back. So what do you think led you into saying, okay, now's the time I want to make a comeback?
So I had essentially 5 years where I wasn't making videos on this channel. And I guess I got to live my life and build an identity that didn't involve being a YouTuber or having this channel attached to me. I mean, I would go months without even thinking about the fact that I had a YouTube channel with, 900,000+ subscribers, which might sound weird, but it just, that was my life. It wasn't relevant to me. And I think I just wanted to experience life without it and to not identify with it. And in doing that, I was essentially a freelance YouTube expert. I'm still doing that kind of on the side, but now I'm back in the saddle with my YouTube channel, so to speak. And I think just not doing it, it gave me enough time to miss it and to know that it was time to come back. It felt like I was missing something, but I wasn't ready to come back. And now that I'm making videos again, I do feel a sense of wholeness that I had not felt in years. It's a feeling I had when I was in the early stages of my YouTube channel, and it was growing, it was fun, and it didn't feel like it was depleting me. And I think it just took a long time to live my life in such a way where I have new experiences to draw from, and I had enough time to miss it and to realize, okay, this is what my life is like without it. Like, how do I feel on a daily basis? And a lot of days I feel like I have all this energy that I don't have anywhere to put. And now I'm putting it into this channel again, and it just feels amazing. My channel being Treesicle, of course. If you've been listening to the pod here. And yeah, it just, I think I had to miss it. I had to miss it. I had to live my life, and build an identity that did not involve it.
Okay. Yeah. So you got kind of stepped away and built yourself up again in a different way, maybe. And now you're back to share what you built up in a creative way, right? In a creative way. So, let's talk about this comeback then. Like, what steps have you taken? Like you said, the comeback's already in progress, right? So go ahead and let the viewers know what have you done so far?
Sure. So I've released two videos on the channel so far. And these are very editing intensive videos. So they take a while, which it feels like a big deal to release 2 videos within 48 hours of each other. The series is called The Story You Never Knew. That was kind of always the main show on my channel, Treesicle, a video game anime channel. Yeah, these 2 videos are just the start. I'm working on a third one. I actually had a third one, or another one I was working on, but I decided to scrap it, which is kind of another thing I've been experimenting with, of working on a video and then saying, actually, fuck this video. I'm going to make another one. And just kind of being honest with myself about that. But I've released 2 videos, working on a third that should be out. I don't know when. It's going to be out as soon as possible. And that's really my mantra, is I'm just releasing as many videos as I can. And I'd say a big difference with the process itself, and this I think is key. This is a huge thing to keep in mind. So previously, before I left YouTube, I was working with a team of a total of 4 guys, 3 other guys. And, we're all still friends, and, it's all good. But I think having a team that big, it creates a lot of overhead. You have to make enough money to support 4 people who are working on this full time. That's a lot of money, especially as, we get into our 30s, and it's life feels more real, it just it's not sustainable. So now it's just me. I still get some help from them, and they're sort of tangentially involved. But it's not 100% of it is going to me, except for, maybe some things here, some things there. Yeah, and that makes a big difference, where I feel like I can just focus on what I want to do. I can follow my instinctual whims, and not have other people kind of telling me what they think I should do. And I think that's just better for everybody, honestly. Yeah, they've all been very supportive of me, and that feels very different. It's just me, like, just having a team of one, essentially, with, like, some occasional help is a big thing, especially for me. Like, I don't know, I've never been diagnosed or anything, but my attention span is not great, shall we say. And I now feel like with only me and I'm taking care of everything, I can now, like, jump between things, whereas before somebody else would, like, record a lot of gameplay footage, and then, you know, I could, like, edit with it, but, you know, like, I'd play the game, they'd record the footage. So I don't know, recording footage can be a pain, but, like, someone else would deal with that, you know, and then I could focus on editing. But, like, now that I'm doing everything, when I get bored of editing, I can record footage. I can make a thumbnail. I can answer emails. There's, like, a billion things I can kind of, like, switch between to keep it interesting for me, which actually is very different. I feel like now I'm not expected to just, like, do the same thing, like, I don't know, for 5, 8 hours a day. You know, I can jump between all these things and still be productive, which feels really nice. It's a lot more interesting that way.
Yeah, yeah. And did you make this return on, like, did you make any strategic plays, I guess? Or did you just say, you know what, I'm just going to create 2 videos or 1 video that I like and get it published? Or did you say, you know what, I'm going to follow kind of this guide or this frameworks of taking, you know, making sure I do this announcement and then this and this? Was there any strategy in the comeback?
So, yes, there was a strategy that I ended up not following at all.
Okay.
So originally I was going to launch the channel with, like, 3, 4, maybe even 5 videos, or I was going to relaunch the channel rather.
Yeah.
And I was either going to release them all at once or, like, back to back to back to back, like, first day, second day, third day, fourth day. I don't know. I just wanted it to move forward, and I felt like I wasn't moving fast enough, and I was just like, it's time to release this video. So I released the video that was done, and then less than 48 hours later, I released a second video that was also done, but, like, had needed a thumbnail. So it kind of, like, I don't know, that sort of forced the process along. So releasing 2 videos within 48 hours felt like the right move. And now, so my strategy of releasing a bunch of videos at once, like, it's happening in a sort of disorganized but good fashion. It feels more aligned with me, I guess. I feel more incentivized to work faster, and I feel good about it.
Okay, and so why this strategy? What is the purpose of releasing a couple videos back to back? Why would somebody want to do that?
So the biggest thing, if you've been gone for several years, if you just kind of, like, drop a video after 3 years and then leave, and then drop another video after, like, 2 weeks, it's just like you've been gone for a long time. And I think it is helpful to release as much as possible all at once, just to kind of show people that you're serious about this. Like, I got a lot of comments on the second video, like, oh my God, 2 videos within 48 hours. This is amazing. And I think just that doing that shows that you're serious. And then as far as the algorithm's concerned, it increases watch time, right? So, like, if you release 2 or 3 videos at the same time, people can now binge watch those new videos, and your channel as a whole is going to get way more watch time than if you just release 1 video. And that is, like, it's gonna kind of, it's like a steroid shot to your channel, so to speak.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of piggyback on that, like, what you can expect when you make your comeback is that when you publish that first video, that, yeah, some of your most engaged subscribers are going to get an impression. You know, it's going to show it's some people that have been subscribed to your channel for years. And I don't know if it's going to go to a majority of them. It's probably not. It's going to go to a small test size. And if people do click on that and they do watch it, then, and you release another one the next day, they're going to get recommended that second video. And you can really start to see that snowball starting to go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, I think that's part of the strategy too, right?
Absolutely. Like, that snowball effect is very real. I have a friend who, his YouTube channel is called SwankyBox, and he's a genius, and he always likens like creating a YouTube channel to starting a fire. And I think that is valid. So, each video is like a piece of kindling. And often I think especially what I'm finding, like the views aren't very good. I've been gone for so long, which is totally fine. But what I'm relying on is releasing these new fresh videos. And then eventually one of them's going to catch. And then people are going to be like, hey, this Story You Never Knew series is really cool. I'm going to watch a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And so then once that kind of viral video, so to speak, happens, I don't know when it's going to happen, but that is going to feed into everything.
Yep. So is there anything to keep in mind when making these comeback videos? Is there anything special that you would do, or I guess, talk a little bit about that. I mean, are these the most important videos? Like, do you need to spend a lot of time, or can you just get anything out there? What do you think about these first few videos?
Mm-hmm. So I think they should be really good. I think you should feel like you're doing your best work, right?
Yeah.
The danger there is perfectionism, of course. Like, you need to find that balance between like good enough and making it really good. So for me, like I feel like I've been cultivating a more positive mindset these past few years of like being kind to myself and not beating myself up, and just like being able to like be productive and not hate on myself. So I feel like I'm coming to this with a fresh, positive feeling of intuition where I can trust that like I can do a lot of editing, and like trust that I'm not rushing it. Like, oh, this is good editing, this is a good joke, but also not be bored while I'm making it. I don't know if that answers the question, but
yeah, it does.
I have a fresh mindset.
I mean, so the answer is yes. Don't come out with a bad video on your comeback video.
Yes.
Try your best, because it is a make or break it point. Like if those impressions go to that small group of subscribers, no one clicks on it, or if they do click on and they leave immediately, then you're not going to have a successful comeback. Like, it's not guaranteed just because you have 200,000 subscribers on your channel that when you make 5 comeback videos that all of a sudden your channel is going to start growing again and you're going to get back to that point you're at. You could very well not, and you could stall out if the content's not good, because it's the same rules. The best content rises to the top. It's click-through rate, it's watch time, it's average view duration, it's viewer satisfaction, meaning do they click on the next video that gets recommended, to them? If they don't, they might never get another impression from you ever again. It's the algorithm's kind of like that. So these comeback videos need to be strong. And let's talk a little bit about like how much they should align with your previous content, because we're talking about reinventing yourself a little bit, right? That could be a little dangerous maybe, but what's your opinion? Like, should this content be exactly the same? Can it be a different format? Can you do talking head before and now you're doing vlog or whatever? How does it need to align? And what does it mean to reinvent yourself and do it correctly without messing up your channel?
So I feel like there's no like right answer to that question, but what I have done, I can only speak to what I have done. So for me, I'm continuing a series that I actually discontinued on the channel. I made an announcement like, I don't know, 5 years ago, basically saying I'm not going to make the series anymore, but I'm bringing it back now. So in that sense, I'm making the same kind of video, but it feels fresh to me in the sense that I feel like I'm doing things differently. I had kind of gotten into a pattern of a video looks like this. It's kind of like funny intro, summary, analyze the plot summary of like the character I'm talking about, and then kind of like switch between analysis, summary, joke. I don't know. There's kind of like a clear format to everything. Now with these videos, I feel like they go a bit more personal. They go a bit deeper. They're a bit more about me. Like I kind of talk about my own experience of like how a character would make me feel, like Godric from Elden Ring, and kind of how I can relate to him on some like horrifying level, and like how I'm dealing with those emotions. Like it's all, I don't know, it feels a little different. I feel like I'm more personal now. So same show, but like a slightly different spin.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. And that's a good kind of segue to my next question. Because I would agree with what you said. Like, if you make a YouTube channel about basketball, with basketball, how to dribble, how to shoot, that was my channel, Baller Bootcamp, and I come back and I start talking about cooking, that's reinventing yourself for sure, but that's not going to work. Like, that won't work for your audience. So I think you do have to align with the niche in the industry and what you're talking about. But I think if I made a comeback and all of a sudden now, instead of doing, dribbling drills in a gym, if I did something maybe more on the line, like, I don't know, maybe game film breakdown, where I'm looking at a player and giving critique, like, it's totally different. I'm not even in the gym. I'm maybe green screen with the video behind me or whatever, sharing my screen, doing a breakdown. That could work, and that would be reinventing yourself. But I would say my advice to somebody would be, at first, go get your butt in the gym and create almost identical content and try to make it better than it was before. If you can make, here's the dribbling drill, but now I have better editing, maybe there's defenders in there. How can I make it better? The audio, the footage is better. The flow of the video is more snappy, and I can make it better. Then I think that's probably my advice, would be to create the same stuff, give the people exactly what you gave them before. And then in time, maybe start winding in these other types of content. That's just my personal opinion, because I know, like, with my channel, I would try to make like these basketball vlogs and stuff sometimes. Like I said, like, I was putting in more effort. That's when I started doing like basketball vlogs, where I was going and playing pickup and I was vlogging it and stuff. And those videos never did well because they just were so different than my other ones. Right. I mean, this was a long time ago, but here's my question. Then the segue is you didn't make a comeback video. You didn't, that's a typical YouTube thing, right? And you didn't make a going away video of like why I'm taking a break. Like, most of these channels out there, the creators are saying, why they quit, and then before they come back, they'll make a comeback video and, add some drama. You didn't do that. And was there a reason behind that? I mean, your channel's a little bit different than maybe like a personal brand channel where it's like it's Treesicle and you're talking about video games. But first of all, why didn't you? And then second of all, would you recommend it for somebody else? And why would you recommend it?
So why did I not make a comeback video? It never really crossed my mind. I think to me, a comeback video is just a new video, right? And I did address that I was coming back in the video, but it wasn't like the centerpiece of the video. So, Godric the Grafted, the story you never knew. That was my comeback video that I released this past weekend. And in that video, I acknowledged that I've been gone for like 3 years, and that I've kind of been, like, I told people what I've been up to, like being a YouTube freelancer instead of like a YouTuber, so to speak. So I kind of, like, in that sense, it was a comeback video, but it was still like in the same vein as my previous videos. Now, would I recommend making a comeback video? Like, how should somebody decide whether or not to make one? I think the example you gave of kind of more vlog-centric channels, personality-centric channels.
Yeah.
I think with that, where your audience would be down to just see a video of you talking, in it kind of explaining what's going on, that would work. But it should feel kind of, the content you release on your channel should feel like it fits into the spirit of the videos that have always been there. So, like, for me, making a face cam video of just like, hey guys, I'm coming back, it just doesn't like match what I'm used to doing and what my audience is used to. So I didn't do it. So I would just say, if it feels like it is in the same spirit as your other videos, then make one. If not, just make the same video you've always made, but like with a fresh perspective, and maybe acknowledge the comeback in it, but that's not like the centerpiece of the video.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you just need to ask yourself when you're making the comeback is like, if I make a comeback video, will it do well? Like, will people click on it and watch it, and will it get those good metrics on click-through rate and, watch time and all that? Because if the answer is yes, then that's probably the way to go. If you feel like no, that would do terrible, because I think on Treesicle that wouldn't work. If you made that, I'm coming back, it's like people are there for the comedic, story you never knew, really. And so So yeah, it makes sense that you didn't do that. And I think for others, it would make sense not to do it too. Even for like the basketball training stuff. I mean, they're more interested in me helping them get good at basketball than my life story on why I took a break, and that's why the vlogs didn't work. They want a new drill. They want to work on their jumper. And so, yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about algorithm. And we've talked about this before, but you can go ahead and rehash your ideas here. Does YouTube punish you for taking long breaks?
See, that's an interesting question. I mean, there's channels like ContraPoints where she won't post for like a year, but then all of her videos do incredible. Like, so in that case, clearly not, right? Now for me, when I came back, the views are, I mean, they're not good, and I expected that, so it's totally fine. I'm unfazed by it. It's like, I don't know. I don't think it's ideal to take a long break.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think in some sense it does punish you in that, like, it's less of like a direct punishment and more of a, I think people subscribe to new channels and they're interacting with other channels. So like those channels are kind of more at the top of the algorithmic priority for them. So in that sense, you're kind of at the bottom. And you have to work your way to the top. For my channel in particular, I think there was a lot of like bad decisions, honestly, that got made kind of leading up to me taking a long break that I think probably affected the views more than like the algorithm itself. They were like good videos in of themselves, at least some of them. But like it wasn't ultimately like, I just like they shouldn't have been made, really. And I think that sort of affected reputation. People didn't know what to expect from the channel anymore. Yeah, I think generally, like, YouTube doesn't directly punish you. And if your views are hurting, like, I don't know, maybe look in a mirror and just saying.
Maybe you're ugly.
Maybe that's the problem.
No, but I do agree. I think that in the algorithm, there's nothing that says if you take a break, the first video back, you got to earn it back again. But think about it. How long of a break are you taking? For me, 5 years, even longer maybe.
It's a long time.
My audience is different now. So,
Yeah.
So it's like, think about what's actually happening here, right? It's the subscribers. They're going to show your thumbnail when you post again to a small amount of them. And if they don't click it, then that video is not going to get views. And so to me, it's like, how do you re-engage your subscribers, right? If you can re-engage them with good content and just a different spin of some sort and get somebody that used to be 16 when they were watching your videos. Now they're 21 or 22, and they're in a different place in their life. How do you re-engage that person to say, first of all, click. And yes, I do enjoy this still, even though I'm 22 years old. I'm not 16 trying to get better at basketball anymore. So like if I was to release a new video, I'd also want to kind of think into that perspective as well and think what kind of content would re-engage them to come back and say, oh, that was great. Comment, like, good job. And then when the next video pops up, they click it again. That's the way to do it. And your audience is just different now. They've changed.
So what sorts of things do you feel like you're doing to re-engage your audience, kind of keeping in mind that they're older now?
Yeah. So kind of one thought that I have is like, well, coaching, before I was really talking directly to the players, so more, these players now can become coaches, and they're looking maybe to coach their children in more of like a team kind of way could engage them, but also too, like just more entertaining. Because, a 16-year-old kid that was watching my videos to get better at basketball is still interested in probably NBA, college. So, and just the game, the culture of the game, the basketball's got this really deep culture of street ball and playing pickup. I mean, these guys are still playing pickup and they're still going out there and pickup and they're bricking shots. And that's that pain point that makes them come to my channel, and say, hey, I need to work on. So, just it's all about your avatar. YouTube is, like all these big agencies, when you spend that big money to have them, take a look at you and help you produce videos and stuff, like the first thing they always do is like take a look at your avatar, your audience. And so making a comeback, I think that's what you got to do. You got to look into the psyche, into the mind and think, what kind of videos would they like? and then test a few different things. And yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. Got to re-engage them. Okay, how can you re-engage them? Not, from a technical standpoint, I think it is good moves. And maybe Grant, I don't know if you've done this, but what email lists can you send back out to and say, hey, I got a new video coming up. I'd truly appreciate if you guys would engage on it and comment and at least just check it out. And what other old social media profiles can you make sure to promote on the, hey, we're back, build some buzz, I think would be a good step. I mean, it's more work and it's the tedious stuff, but how can you build a little bit of buzz on those first videos back to get people kind of re-interested again when, it's been 5 years? Any tips there besides emailing out to an email list?
I would say, at least for me, like, I try to focus on what I like. And I think the less I make shit I don't like, the more I'm going to engage people. And things will kind of come naturally. Like, they'll come more naturally to me. So I think often what kind of leads to burnout and even subscribers becoming less interested is like we feed the game instead of like feeding what we actually want. So at least for me, like that's kind of the most important thing is I'm just not doing things I don't want to do anymore. It's there's still work involved, but I feel like I've cultivated my intuition enough to where, like I know what I truly like and what I truly love. And that will engage my subscribers more than anything. It's just having that relationship with myself.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to do it. I mean, it's the comeback. There's a reason you took a break. There's a reason I took a break. So I think you need to tread lightly and not get caught up in the overthinking part and all that other kind of stuff, and truly just get back on the horse and release content like you have. You definitely did not overthink that out, and because the mindset's where you need to be. So what are some mindset things that you would recommend in this comeback for people, for myself?
The biggest thing is, especially if burnout was why you left, the biggest thing is just going to be like not feeding that same method that you were using before. Like clearly there was something wrong with the way you were approaching things. Your mindset, whatever it is, should feel different than your mindset before. Like so for me, I felt like I was making videos out of a place of obligation, even frustration. I was trying to chase views because we had 4 people to support. That felt like the responsible thing to do. So it felt like a treadmill, it's just like this mediocre workout that I can't get off the treadmill, So my mindset is like, there is no treadmill anymore. I don't have to do anything. Like I can do whatever I want. When I'm bored with editing, now I record footage. Now I answer emails. Now I make a thumbnail. Now I read a book. Like, I don't know. I trust that I will do what needs to be done instead of like forcing myself to do things that I think I have to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think for me too, it's all about creating some accountability and stuff. Like if I want to make a comeback and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, record videos here and there, and start publishing again, like it won't happen. But if I say it, publicly, I'm going to make a comeback, I'm releasing on Wednesdays, and I'm recording on Mondays at 9 a.m. and I really do the time blocking and all that kind of stuff, then I'll set myself up to succeed. So I think not only the mindset part, but just, the productivity tips, like start studying productivity, like try something new as far as things that'll actually turn into you getting behind the camera, hitting record. That'll set you up for success too. So we always talk about that, because we mentioned this before, being a content creator is the best job in the world because you get to be your own boss. You get to own your own time. You get to be location independent. It's a laptop lifestyle, right, baby? That's what we all want is those things, right? That freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. It's the best. But you're your own boss. And if you can't boss yourself around, if you don't have the discipline to get it done, then you won't. And that's why, being a content creator is like almost like making the NBA nowadays. If you're a full-time content creator, good for you. Like mad props. Like you're a top 1%er, you're a top couple percenter that are able to actually do it. And hopefully you don't face any burnout, because we see it so many times. Any last words on this topic on how to make a comeback on YouTube?
I think cultivating that intuition within yourself of like, what do I truly want? What, if I'm fighting resistance to edit a video, is it worth it? And if the answer is yes, then great, make the video. If the answer is no, maybe scrap the video, work on another one. Like just having that trust with yourself is ultimately the most important thing. Trust yourself. And if you feel like you can't trust yourself, then you're probably not ready for a comeback yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are wise words. And my last piece of advice would be just to find your why. If you figure out why you're making videos, if you can actually get, enjoyment of helping these basketball players get better at basketball, and that's your why, and you feel that and you enjoy that, then you will be motivated to make the videos if you can just focus on your why. And that's important. I think that's why I lost my why for sure. I was chasing views, and when the views weren't coming, then I stopped uploading. So that's a problem. So, all right, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by vidchops.com. If you need a video editor, head over to vidchops.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe, hit like, leave us a comment. We check all the comments. And if you're listening on an audio platform, you can just click that little follow button to follow us there. And thank you guys so much again, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.